Garin is 10, 2 years younger than his brother, but he's involved with every aspect of Callum's care.
It's very difficult when you've got a disabled brother. I'm not saying I don't love him, it's just really gets you tied down with stuff.
Garin's life is very different to that of a typical 10-year-old.
If he has a fit, sometimes you have to inject this big long thing.
So you're kind of like a mini doctor?
Yeah, sort of. I wouldn't say that, but I'm like a full-time carer, really. Because I have to help him and stuff, don't I, mate?
Yeah.
I'm keen to meet Asha and find out how she splits her time between her 2 sons.
Hello, hi.
Hello, Callum.
Hello. You like this, don't you? This is your favourite bit. Make sure that all this is in.
Can I help?
Yeah. Right. I'm just going to try and... Right, don't go to your knees, Callum. Don't go to your knees, because you can't stand up properly yet, can you?
How do you do this on your own?
Oh, this is it. Oh, he's got all tied up.
Hold on, he's tied up.
There you go. You're not going to sleep?
Asha is constantly battling red tape, as well as fighting for Callum's most basic needs.
You actually feel that the system is more of like a beast. Do you know what I mean? It's not supporting you, it's actually against you. You feel that you're constantly fighting this animal that's like, wow, you may be helping me.
One seemingly ludicrous battle was waged with her local health service over Callum's nappy allowance.
They gave me an allocation down here of 3 nappies.
3?
Yeah, a day. Yeah. Sometimes he poos 3 or 4 times a day. I can't tell him to stop. And then they gave us forms to fill out of every inflow and outflow. So we was drinking and eating, and pooing. Then they wanted me to get a syringe and actually syringe the wee up and measure it. So you can say, well, he had 250 mils of milk in the morning, he peed out 200.
Do not believe it.
Yeah. And I said, I'm not going far as that. I will do the inflow and outflow, but that is it. And then they turned around and said, well, look, we'll give you 1 extra nappy a day, which is 4, and that is your lot. You cannot get any more.
With all Asha's time taken up with caring for Callum and fighting for the things he needs, it's her youngest son, Garin, who suffers most. What's the hardest thing?
Trying to help my mum sometimes, it's really hard.
Because actually, what you want more than anything else is for your mother to be looking after you rather than you looking after her, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you find that when you come home you can settle down and have a bit of time on your own? Not easy, is it, for you?
No, it's not really easily for anyone, really. It has the exact same problems as, goes through the exact same time as what I'm going through now. And other people are going through worse, though.
It's amazing that you can say that. It really is. It really is.
I worry about Garin a lot. He wants to be a little boy, you know, he wants to do nice things and he can't go out. He says to me, I don't want a disabled brother. He said, I love Callum. He said, I love Callum a lot. He said, but I wish Callum, he said, could be normal. I wish I had someone to play with. And then he says, that's really bad, isn't it? He said, because I love Callum so much. I think there's an underlying feeling, there's always that a little bit of feeling of worriedness. And always life is a little bit unpredictable, which doesn't help him to always feel that secure.
As we make our way back to Garin's house, a gang of local children hurl verbal abuse. And do they all live around here? Just have to ignore them, don't you? The reality is that it's commonplace for families with disabled children to become targets of abuse. As in the recent case of Fiona Pilkington and her 18-year-old disabled daughter, who after years of being tormented by a gang of local youths, set her car alight and burnt herself and her daughter to death. The Nardons have reported various incidents to the police, including bricks hurled through the windows, taunts and stone throwing. Poor boy's got it from every angle. He's stressed at home because he's worried about his brother, he's worried about his mother not coping with looking after his brother, and he's worried that he can't step foot outside his own house because he gets abuse hurled at him and stones. I mean, what life is that for a 10-year-old child? I just feel incredibly angry at a system that can reduce families to this. You know, this is a family who needs help. This is a family who needs respite care. All Asha's energy is going into fighting every step. It's amazing she has energy left at the end of the day to be a mother to her 2 sons. The problems of siblings feeling neglected and also responsible has been a concern of mine with my eldest daughter, Savannah. I saw how badly it affected Garin because all the attention was going to his brother and mother didn't have time for him. And I wondered if there were times when you'd felt really neglected.
Not so much being neglected, but I think the responsibility is a big issue. Feeling like you need to mother, or maybe in Garin's case, father your sibling, and not being able to have a normal relationship where you're equal and just playing together because you feel like you're always taking care of them, and realising that it's just going to get harder for her, and she's feeling more and more left out, and what's she going to do, where's she going to live.
We know she's going to have to live somewhere where she's looked after, but that will not be your responsibility. Your responsibility is only to love her.
You just feel guilty otherwise if you're the only one in the family who can or should. You feel it's your duty.
Well, how can we remove that guilt? This is an ongoing, running conversation in this family, isn't it? How can we do that? Just mustn't take it on, darling. What's been the best bit for you?
You can tell Dominica anything and you know she won't tell anyone at all because either she'll forget or... yeah, and you can be completely stupid and play dollies again.
You never think, when you start off on this journey,
Very good, darling.
how much fighting you have to do.
No good.
25, actually.
Oh, 25.
And I think the overwhelming impression I come back with is the exhaustion of these parents who are caring. I realise how very lucky I am in the support that I have had, because those early years when she was extremely ill were very, very difficult. But I had the help, and having that help enabled me not to be her carer, but to be her mother. Having money obviously helps, but it relieves none of the pain and upset. David Cameron is still grieving the loss of his 6-year-old son, Ivan, who had cerebral palsy with multiple complications.
To start with, we didn't have much help, and we did try and sort of struggle through, and then eventually we were getting close to collapse. Then we managed to get a brilliant social worker and lots of help, and yes, of course, we could afford to have additional help over and above that. I think if we had had none of those things, none of that help, I just don't want to speculate. I mean, it would have been desperate because, you know, if you have a child like Ivan needs absolutely 24-hour care, you cannot leave him on his own for any period of time because he might have a seizure, he might stop breathing. So I think we would have coped very badly if we hadn't had more help.
We have interviewed families and have found just such horror and isolation and layers of bureaucracy, the walls of bureaucracy. It's just so complicated that families just don't have the time to work their way through it. I just wondered what you would change.
My biggest memory at the beginning is just you don't know what is there to help you. You don't know what you're entitled to. And to start with, you're just completely lost and bewildered. You were endlessly battering down another door. Right, let's try and get the disabled parking permit. Right, at last we've got that. Now let's see if we can get the special school. in Austria, and I think it's in Denmark as well. There's a sort of passport system where the single assessment, so you're not having to endlessly answer the same question all over again about your child, but then throws open all the different things that you need. So those are two, but there are many other. I mean, I could go on and on.
You've said Ivan taught you many things and that you had expected to be teaching him. What's his legacy to you as a family? How has it changed you as a person? And
I often say this: the parents of disabled children are not angels. They don't choose it. That's what fate deals them. And so I think the legacy is huge because you learn so many things. You learn all sorts of ways of loving someone who can't tell you that they love you. The most profound thing is definitely just, having had this incredible person in your life. That's the biggest thing, I think, overall.
I think it's a very interesting time for people who lobby on behalf of those who are disabled, because we have a Prime Minister who has a disabled son, and we have the leader of the opposition who has had his own terrible experiences. So now really should be the time for there to be a huge, clamorous voice saying we have to look after these people. The Care Services Minister, Phil Hope, says there should be a first-stop shop information service. He wants all carers to be recognised, valued and supported. This is about more than money. It's about raising the profile of carers and the valuable work they do. I'm coming back to Mavonian and Don's house. A recent incident with Cameron has left them badly shaken. You sure you're all right? What happened?
He banged this door several times with his tongue, and then he attacked me and got me round the throat. It's when he's like that, you just think, I don't want this anymore. The violence is just, it's absolutely distressing.
Yeah.
And he got me round the wrist and...
Are you all right?
Yeah.
Gosh, no, you're not.
I just feel really sick now.
The night before, there was the worst